Welcome to the Rated Rabbi Sports Card Podcast, where sports cards and pop culture meet the 1984 All-Star Game. I am your host, Rabbi David Spinrad. Welcome to episode 28, Rags, Shooty Krazy George. Episode 28, Rags, Shooty Krazy George. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, if you are on YouTube, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. If you're listening in on the podcast, thanks for taking a minute to not only subscribe, but to rate and review. And most of all, best of all, if you like this, just tell somebody. Tell one person, won't you please? Happy 4th of July coming at you one day later than usual. I was at the ball game last night. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Happy Independence Day and a happy birthday to you, Ron Kovic, born on the 4th of July. Happy birthday also to Bill Withers. And happy birthday to you, Post Malone. You know, Posty, you got a great, adorable Shayna Punim. But the facial tattoos, man, I don't know. Maybe it's a generational thing, but you lose me. You know, it's fine. Get a tattoo on your pec, on your shoulder, on your back, on your arm. But the facial tattoos, that's like a mark on the front of a card. I'm okay, actually, with a little mark on the back of a baseball card. One of my very favorite cards in my personal collection is a 56 Jackie Robinson that is sharp. PSA 6 with an MK. Some kid back in the 50s must have written number 42 in pencil. Real clean. I think it adds to the beauty of the cards. So Post Malone, man, I know it's too late. You do your thing. You're Post Malone. But the facial tattoos. Why, God? What are these kids doing nowadays with their tattoos on their faces? First ball game I've been to all season last night. Nationals hosting the Cincinnati Reds. Reds are in first. I barely know the guys on either team. I think it's because I stopped playing fantasy baseball after 2019, and after all those years of knowing all the players on all the rosters, not keeping up with it like I used to. And man, does MLB turn over fast. I knew the manager. I knew C.J. Abrams. They got him in the big Soto trade. He's one of the top picks from the San Diego organization. Little itty bitty guy. Got some serious range though. We'll see if he can develop. Barely knew anybody on either team. Had a good time though. It's always fun to go to a baseball game. Had great seats, front row, left field line, right behind the ball girl. And my son, man, for the third time in 2 years, got another foul ball. Abrams chased the ball into foul ground. It dropped, didn't get to it, picked it up, flipped it to the ball girl who turned and brought it over to my son. Man, second time that's happened. Plus he got a bullpen catcher to throw him a ball last year. I don't know, man. The guy's got the good magic going on those balls. I did something last night at a baseball game I had never done before in my entire life. Well, two things. With tip, I paid $20 for a beer. And the other thing was, I, for the first time in my life, participated in the wave. I had never done the wave. I actually had refused to participate in the wave because it's not a Giants fan thing. At Candlestick, at the ballpark now known as Oracle, Giants fans just will not do the wave. Giants fans consider themselves serious fans, consider this kind of maybe a Dodger thing, too bougie, although, man, with what happened to San Francisco and all those goony, douchey .com bros, the tech bros who, man, I'm sure there's some nouveau Giants fan trying to get a wave started at the ballpark right now. So maybe the Giants fans don't wave because we're serious fans. Maybe we think it's too bougie. Or maybe, and more likely, it's because it was invented where? It was brought to life. It was birthed. Its genesis was where? Oakland Coliseum, October 15th, 1981. But first, I want to take a little detour. I want to tell you something. There are no Giants fans who are also A's fans, and there are no A's fans who are also Giants fans. There are no A's fans anymore. But when I was growing up, you were either an A's fan or a Giants fan. You were never both. If you said you were both, you were neither, you were neither, you were nor. I want to show you this picture for those of you listening in on the pod. It's one of those 50-50 hats. A's on the left, Giants on the right, green and yellow on the left, black and orange on the right. What's in the middle? One of those new era stickers, that round sticker, right? If you don't take it off right away, it gets to be a different color. It ruins it, or you got to keep it on for life. So it's funny about this. I wanted to show you this hat because, well, first of all, who would ever buy this hat? This one still has a sticker. It was unsold. And if I did see somebody buying this hat, take off that hat, man. Wave, invented October 15th, 1981. There were earlier wave attempts by this guy, known as the father. The George Washington of the wave is Krazy George Anderson. Krazy George, remember this guy? Because he looked crazy. Also crazy with a K. Like, remember Kids in the Hall? Kathy with the C, Kathy with the K. This is Crazy with the C, Crazy with a K. Look at Krazy George, man. Kind of jacked, actually. Look at the guns. Got that tight yellow A's t-shirt on. Sun swept Sunday afternoon at the Oakland Coliseum. Bang a drum in the hand. Krazy George invented and is known as the father of the wave. Not without some controversy. University of Washington claims they invented it. Internationally, it's known as the Mexican wave because it was brought to the world during the 1986 World Cup. But this guy, Krazy George, was a San Jose State cheerleader. Practiced it there. Practiced it in Colorado at NHL games. But really, its birth, October 15th, 1981. Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. The Oakland A's hosting the New York Yankees. Those are Billy Ball years, my friends. 1980, 1981 into 82. Billy Ball is baseball. That was exciting. I got a couple things I want to show you from Billy Ball. First, I got a Billy Ball in the package. Check that out. Remember that logo, that cursive sweep? I used to have I had a t-shirt. That's so weird. I hated the A's. My mom must have got me at a Mervyn's. 3/4, white, green, 3/4 sleeve. And that's weird. The Billy Ball baseball. I got this from Matt's, my daddy's friend, Ken Matsuoka. I actually got it from his wife, Matt's died. And my dad got a little care package of some stuff for me, including this Billy Ball A's ball still in the package. Martin brought some real energy, real excitement to those early 80s A's. Ricky Henderson, Dwayne Murphy, Tony Armas. Oh my God. And he used to pitch his pitchers' arms off. They all were out of baseball in a few years. Everyone was pitching 8 innings. Who we have? Matt Keogh, Steve McCaddy, Mike Norris, of course, Brian Kingman, Rick Langford. Look, that they all do a little Billy Martin blows out pitcher's arms Google search. They all just wore out fast. Oh my God. Here's a little 83 Topps Billy Martin A's. That's such a great A's guy. Oh my God. Troubled soul, that Billy Martin. You got the mustache, kind of got the tinted eyeglasses. Billy Ball. Oh my God. So he's managing the Oakland A's. Across the diamond in the dugout, I think it's Bob Lemon for the New York Yankees. Yankees leading the series 2-0. They're going to go on to sweep this game. They win game number 3, 4-0, advance to the World Series, where they will take on and lose to the Los Angeles Dodgers. What's the connection to this episode and the 1984 All-Star Game? Well, on that night when the wave was invented, October 15th, 1981, the first wave, there were 6 players in the game that night who were also members and players in the 1984 All-Star Game. Who were they, you ask? Well, Jerry Mumphrey. By 84, he was a Houston Astro. In 1981, he leads off for the New York Yankees. Reggie Jackson, of course, although Reggie doesn't get started. He does not get the start. Strange, man. Ends up being the last season Reggie plays for the New York Yankees. Bobby Mercer gets the start at DH, and Oscar Gamble is out in right. Boy, he had some falling out that year with George Steinbrenner, did Reggie Jackson. You might remember in August of 1981, the boss orders Reggie to get a physical, including to get his eyes checked. And like Reggie's like, I'm Reggie Jackson, bitch. Man, who else? So we had Jerry Mumphrey, an all-star, Reggie Jackson, Dave Winfield, Goose Gossage, Tony Armas, then an A. In 84, he would be a Red Sox. And, of course, Ricky Henderson. Jerry Mumphrey, Reggie Jackson, Dave Winfield, Goose Gossage, Tony Armas, and Ricky Henderson, all on the field that night, the night the wave was invented. The birth of the wave, October 15th, 1981. Who was on the hill? Who was the Yankee starting pitcher? Game 3, October 15th, 1981. It was Dave Righetti, Rags. Yankee great, long-time, beloved San Francisco Giant pitching coach. Dave Righetti would go on to win the American League Rookie of the Year in 1981. Goes 8-4 with a 2.05 ERA. Starts 15 games. I'm not going to lie to you, a bit of a weak rookie class if he's able to win it with numbers like that. Let's take a look at his card. Got a little, this is an 1882 Fleer. You wonder why these cards are not worth more. Well, they're not that attractive. But I loved Righetti. Oh, my God. Good starter, good reliever, and just an awesome pitching coach for the Giants. He's their pitching coach, and they win all those World Series in 2010, 12, and 14. Here he is, 1982 Fleer, Dave Righetti. So you're asking yourself, Dave, who else was a contending rookie for the AL Rookie of the Year in 1981? Well, I'm going to tell you who finished fifth. The fifth place vote getter in the 1981 American League Rookie of the Year balloting was this guy, Shooty Babitt. Friends, ever since I had the idea for this 84 All-Star Game podcast, I've wondered, can I find a way to incorporate the great Shooty Babitt into an episode? Shooty Babitt, born in Oakland, but the pride of Berkeley and Berkeley High School. Full name, Mac Shooty Babitt. 1977, Babitt is drafted, works his way up, 78, 79, and 80, works his way up in the A's minor league system. 1981, he makes the show. 1981, I'm doing a deep dive into Shooty Babitt. Oh my God. Plays in 54 games, 171 at-bats. Hits 256, 314 on base percentage. Does not play at all in the American League Championship Series. And in fact, Billy Martin was quoted as saying, if I ever let that guy play second base for me again, Shooty me. You could look it up. Shooty Babitt. Shooty Babitt has a second, a third, and a fourth life. Becomes a hitting instructor. Becomes a broadcaster pre and post game for the A's. Never again plays in the major leagues. Goes back down to the minors. 83, 82, 83, 84 with the A's, and then with Montreal, and finally retires after the 84 season. So Shooty Babitt only plays in the major leagues that one short season, 54 games in 1981. Shooty me. All right, back to Dave Righetti, the winning pitcher in 1981, Game 3 of the LCS. On this day, 40 years ago, Dave Righetti threw a no-hitter against the New York Yankees. July 4th, 1983, a sweltering 94-degree day in New York, up in the Bronx. Righetti takes the mound against the Boston Red Sox. Pitching with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder was Rags on that day. Really becoming one of the better pitchers in the American League. He's 9-3 at the time. American League and National League All-Star rosters have just been announced. Pitchers have been revealed, and Rags has been ignored, overlooked, snubbed. Righetti will not be an All-Star. He's pitching with a chip on his shoulder. So it's hot, but Righetti that day, friends, Righetti was hotter. Oh my God. First 5 innings, couple of lefties, Rags and Red Sox John Tudor squaring up, showing down. It's nothing after 5. After 4. In the bottom of the 5th, Yankees pick up a run, string together singles. Steve Kemp, Roy Somali, and Andre Robertson pick up a run. Bottom of the 6th, Dom Baylor, the DH, hits a home run. Yankees go up 2-0. That's all Righetti's going to need. Bottom of the 9th, top of the 9th, 2 outs. It's working around a walk. Top of the 9th, 2 outs, 1 more out to go. Who's at the plate for the Red Sox? Wade Boggs, already establishing himself as one of the best hitters in the game, hitting around 360. Hard to strike out. Butch Weiniger behind the plate. Steve Palermo calling balls and strikes. Rags bears down, throws a couple of sliders, and then just throws one by Boggs, strikes him out. A no-hitter for Dave Righetti on the 4th of July, and a birthday present for the boss, George Steinbrenner, also born on the 4th of July. All right. I'm going to start wrapping things up, but before I do, I want to share a thought I've been having. I'm thinking about taking a little break from my Willie Mays run. For the past year, I've been collecting Willie Mays cards, trying to collect all of his main issues and a few of the combo cards and cooler cards from 51 through 72. I'll never, ever have his 73 card with the Mets. And I've got a bunch of them, right? I've got a lot of nice ones, but I've grown tired of it. And I'm thinking about taking a break. It's starting to feel like work. And I never, ever, ever want the hobby that gives me so much happiness and joy to feel like it's a job. What have I learned so far in collecting Willie Mays cards? Well, I think I've gotten a really wonderful introduction into collecting vintage. I've learned about eye appeal. I've learned that versus grades, eye appeal, boy, counts for me for everything. I know what a good card looks like in a particular year versus a technical grade. I know which issues the centering is better and the centering is worse on Mays' cards. I know what the color looks like, the difference between the yellow, a good yellow, 63 or 59 for that matter, and one that's sort of faded out. I know the difficulties of finding a really nicely centered 67 with those very thin borders. I feel like I know all of his cards so well, and through getting to know his cards, I've gotten to know vintage baseball, but it's starting to feel like work. And it's also starting to feel like too much accumulation. I don't want more cards. I want fewer cards. I want a curated collection of cards. If I can do that with 80% of my hobby budget and with 20% do some fun collecting of stuff that might not be, museum quality, but tickles my fancy and scratches the itch to be collecting. But if for 80% of my cards, I can really get cards that are special, I'll be happy, which means fewer, which means nicer, which means more lasting. And listen, they're all Willie Mays cards, but more is not always better. It's just more. And there are a few that are amazing. And I have some of them, and some of them I still want. The one I still want, even though I'm hitting pause on the Willie Mays run, is I definitely want the 52 Topps. First Willie Mays card issued by Topps, not his rookie card, but just a beautiful, beautiful baseball card. I've been looking for one for almost a year, at least since last September. I've learned a lot about that card, and I've learned what I want, what I don't want. I've learned what I'll pay for and what I won't. Haven't found it yet. Haven't found my card, and now it's just a matter of patience. So that's one I'm still going to get. I do want to share with you before I say goodbye my very favorite card in my collection. It's a 1951 Bowman Willie Mays. This is a Willie Mays rookie card. I think most of you tuning in would already know that. when I was a kid, I would dream of having a card like this, 51 Bowman Mays and a PSA 2.5. So this card, it's big challenge for the primitive printing quality and conditions. These things were hand cut back then, or if they weren't, the machines were super primitive. So obviously centering is tough. I'm okay with the centering if it's off, as long as it leads in the direction of the way he's facing. So if you notice that Mays is facing if you're looking at the card, it's towards the right. If you're looking at it reverse, it's towards the left. So I'm okay that it's off center in that direction. It doesn't really jar me. What was really important in this one is, number one, that it had wonderful color, and this one does. Number two, this card is plagued by print lines that really cut into the aesthetic appeal. No print lines, brilliant color, really, really nice example, and I think it's a beautiful card for the grade. It's exactly what I want. High eye appeal, low grade. So this is one, man. This is one I took out of the safe deposit box to show to you today. And now, other than the 52 tops, I think I'm going to take a little breather, take a step back, look at my cards, refine my hobby, refine my collecting, remind myself that in the end, what we collect is ourselves. All right, what did we do today? We had a little happy birthday. We talked about facial tattoos, talked about those tryhards, founding fathers, the inventor of the wave, Krazy George, why there are no fans of both the A's and the Giants, only either. Or Game 381 ALCS, ran that down for you, led us to Dave Righetti, the winning pitcher on that day, and the man who threw a no-hitter July 4th, 1983, 40 years ago to the day. Man, here's a card. This is 84 tops. I don't know if I showed you this. Righetti. Nice. Year after the no-no. What else did we do? We talked about the no-no. We talked about how I'm taking a little break from my Willie Mays run, and I was able to share with you my all-time most favoritist card in my collection. Let's look at it just one last time. 1951 Bowman Willie Mays. Take a look at the back. And that's all for now. I wish everybody a happy 4th of July. I'll be back Friday with a new episode. Until then, may you and the people in your lives enjoy and be blessed with health and long life. So long for now.